Hey everybody, it's Sandra here with Clean and Simple Life. Good morning. Is it still morning? Yeah, it's still morning. As most of you are in self-isolation and practicing social distancing, I think many people are spending more time at home these days. For those of you who are still working and are frontline workers, thank you so much for the sacrifices that you are making on behalf of the rest of us, going out and doing what you do, stocking our grocery shelves and taking care of our sick and just maintaining our supply chain. So thank you to everyone who's out there still working. But for those of us who are not and are home trying to keep busy and looking for something to do here and wanting to get back into the kitchen a little bit more, today I'm making some chicken stock. We made a really nice roast chicken for dinner the other night. So I'm going to be using the carcass from that and making a really nice chicken stock. So I wanted to share how I do that with you guys. Super easy and anybody can do it. So we're going to start off with our veg base, because you always have to have some veg. It's going to add some depth of flavor to your broth. So all I've done is clean them up. It's a great way too to use up some veggies that might be starting to get a little bit older in the fridge. They're not quite as appealing as they were. You know, my celery's getting a little wobbly, but it's still perfectly fine, especially for what we're going to be using it for. And you don't need to be fancy with this. It's not going to matter what it looks like. It just needs to get into the pot. So really, I'm just doing a super duper rough chop on that. All right, that's going to be perfectly fine. And same with my carrots. I didn't peel my carrots. All I've done is I've cleaned them off a little bit. I am going to take the top off of these ones though, because they do have a little bit of root growing on them. Because again, they're a little bit past their prime, but they're going to work perfectly for what we're doing. They're a little bit thicker than the celery, and they're definitely more dense. So I'm going to cut them up just a little bit smaller. And I'm using 3 of each, but again, you know, it doesn't really matter. You can use as many or as little as you want. It all depends on how much flavor you want to get in there. If I had some onions, I would probably chop up an onion as well, although you know how I feel about chopping onions. So that may or may not have happened, but in any case, I don't have any onions, so the point is moot. But we're gonna take care of that problem in a second. So come on over to the stove top with me. Oops, as I drop one of the carrots. That's okay, the dog will get that one. Here we are. I'll make a little bit of room. My countertop isn't quite as big as I'd like, but anyway. So I've got a stock pot on the go here. And I'm just gonna turn up the heat a bit and throw in a little bit of coconut oil. And, oops, sorry for the noise. Here we go. There. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna get that melting nicely. Crank up the heat a little bit. And I'm gonna toss my celery and carrots in here just to get them started a little bit. There we go. You guys know I'm a fairly messy chef, but that's okay. It's my kitchen, I'm allowed to be messy. So there we go. Get that stirred up a little bit. You can hear that sizzling. There we go. And as I said, no onions. That's okay. That's what toasted onion is for. So I'm just gonna toss a little bit in. I'm gonna say maybe a tablespoon or so. I'm not really measuring. And I'm also gonna put in some minced garlic here. I'm not gonna grind it because I actually do want it a little bit chunkier. And same thing, about a tablespoon of that in there. Grab my wooden spoon here. Let's give this a stir. And I'm not looking to cook these so much as just to start getting that flavor to come out. There we go. You can hear that sizzling in there. All right. And then, my leftover chicken carcass. I've got the whole carcass in here. There's some really nice meat still left on there. I've got the chicken wings. So that all goes into the pot very unceremoniously. Because again, it doesn't have to be fancy, nor does it have to be difficult. All right, you guys know how I love to keep things simple. That's why it's a clean and simple life. Make life easy. Life's too hard to begin with, right? Cooking shouldn't be hard. So there we go. I can already smell the onion and the garlic working their magic in there with the beautiful aromatics of the carrots and the celery. And this chicken, again, you know what? It's just all together. There's still a little bit of stuffing in there, which has lots of flavor. I'm not worried about breaking it apart. Leave it all like that. As it simmers in this pot, and it's gonna simmer for a few hours in here, it'll all fall apart on its own. So I'm not worried about that. All I wanna do is get that flavor going. And it's looking pretty good to me. So I'm going to cover it with some water, just regular cold water out of the tap. I'm going to try not to make too much of a mess here. There we go. I need a little bit more water, which I will do in a few minutes after I finish with you guys. But what I want to do is I do want to cover that carcass completely with the water. All right, so we're gonna put that in there. And then I'm also gonna add a little bit of our roasted chicken seasoning. Again, maybe a tablespoon and a half of that, roughly measured. It's not an exact science. You're gonna put that in there, give it a little bit of time. I'm gonna taste it and then I can adjust. Definitely wanna put some salt in there, not too much, but you do need some salt to bring out the other flavors. And some pepper. I love pepper. A couple extra grinds of that. And then I've got some bay leaves. I'm gonna throw in a couple of fresh bay leaves. Dried would work here too. Don't freak out if you don't have fresh bay leaves. Dry will work. And if you don't have bay leaves, don't freak out about that either. It's not complicated. And I also had some fresh thyme in the fridge, so I'm gonna throw in a sprig of that. And then we're gonna let that all come to a boil. Once it comes to the boil, I'm gonna let it simmer for probably about 2 hours. I'm gonna check on it then, and then I'll decide how I like it. Once that's done, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strain it all out, take all these aromatics and all the meat out, take the broth, and then I like to freeze it in 1 cup containers. That way when I'm making something, if I just want to have a little bit of extra broth for a stir fry or something like that, I can take out just a little bit of what I need. If I need a little bit more, then I take out 3 or 4 of them. It's so easy that way, and I've got beautiful clean stock, beautiful clean ingredients. I know exactly what has gone into that, and I can be very happy serving that to my family. Hope you guys enjoyed that little video and learned something new. I encourage you to get into your kitchen as you're staying home and staying safe. Get in the kitchen, experiment, have some fun with it. It's not complicated. It doesn't have to be hard. I don't like complicated recipes, so that's why I try to make things super easy. And hey, we've got a little extra time on our hands. Why not try something new? Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.